acknowledge me, the one.
Any plans for the week in Adelaide?
No, I don't like Adelaide, so I'll probably be in my room playing Call of Duty with the boys.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Kick It to Scoops. I'm your host, Scoops, the sole admin of Scoops. Now, for the first time ever, a Kick It to Scoops episode will finally have a special guest appearance on the show live. Well, first official time ever. Who am I talking about? You will see them on the show very, very shortly. But the Saints, oh, what a win over the Power. It was so damn good. So proud of the boys for getting the job done in tough conditions in terms of playing in Adelaide, where we haven't got a good record playing in Adelaide, period. I'm just, so happy with the boys of how they performed. And, oh, what a sweet victory it was. And we'll review and preview the rounds just gone and upcoming very shortly. And the special guest will be on very shortly. Go through my team of the week, my Supercoach Talk, and everything in between. First off, I'll start with this. If you want me on Cameo, head to cameo.com/Cooper G. Want me to roast a friend, wish them happy birthday, anything at all, cameo.com/Cooper G. And if you know any AFL, AFLW players, any up-and-coming draftees, or any state league players, and you would like to see them on the podcast in a Gold King challenge and or interview, please do send me a message, and we'll try and get something sorted. Oh, we've got a lot to talk about. I will leave most of it with the special guest, but first off, the world famous segment, Scoops Goes Bang! Wow. I was talking this up a bit last night, that this is going to be the biggest Scoops Goes Bang in history. 4 years of this show combined with the AFL and AFLW, and this will be the most explosive one yet. So, the people in the firing line is mainly Kane Cornes. Now, Kane Cornes has a history of talking crap about the St Kilda Football Club, in particular lately, Jack Macrae. Jack Macrae's proven Kane Cornes wrong yet again. Lots of clearances, over 10 again. Tackles, disposals, contested possessions. He leads all stats, Kane, in this department. The key stats for a midfielder, clearances, contested possessions, the whole lot. The whole lot. He's killing it. Top in the comp for contested possessions. On top. Second for disposals, one behind Lockie Whitfield. And all the other key stats for a midfielder, he's at the top or second or third for it, Kane. And you still don't want to give him any credit. And St Kilda, we've beaten Geelong, who people think, including yourself, Kane, could win the premiership or will win the premiership. Well, we beat them. Check. We beat your mob, Port Adelaide, who you had in the top 8. Check. But this is what Kane Cornes had to say on SEN yesterday. And oh my Lord, he is talking absolute crap yet again. And Kane, gee, you've got some explaining to do. This is what Kane Cornes had to say on SEN yesterday. And his good friend, David King, rips him apart.
Too good.
I think it's more than that. I think you're going unders on the Saints.
What more can I say?
I think we're starting.
They're not good. They're not good.
What do you mean they're not
good?
good?
The Saints are not good. Any thought that the Saints...
have some vision, man. We had this discussion about the Suns 2 years ago. I want you to look at the Saints in the same way. Garcia is going to be a player. Did you see some of the things Collard did?
Yeah,
he was
clean.
Last week.
But
I'm not worried about mentions. I'm not worried about mentions, right?
Got good young players. Every team does.
But you've got to recognise the coming out of the ashes, right? They got Wanganeen, Miller,
in the ashes.
Wilson.
They played finals 2 years ago. Like, they're not in the ashes.
You've been saying they're bottom 4. Well, that's ashes.
Well, yeah, I have been, and maybe. Well, I'm holding on it. I'm holding.
You're bottom 4.
I don't know if they're bottom 4, but they're not.
Well, that says you're holding. If you're saying you're holding on bottom 4,
I think they win between 8 and 10 games. Bottom 4 was 8 wins, I think, last year. So I'm holding on it.
There's no way they're bottom 4.
Okay.
Absolutely no way. And I just want to
where
recognise.
Are they, then?
Well, I think they're.
You call it. I've called it. You call it.
I'm trying to tell you that I think you've got to recognise some of these kids. I thought Hall showed some real good signs. Travalia did some promising things. 5 scoring involvements, thought he was terrific. Yeah, they've got the senior core players shouldering the load in McRae and Sinclair, but Wanganeen Miller is going to be a top liner in this competition. And Wilson, I'm amazed by some of the things that he does. I think that they're going to come forward quicker than you give them credit for.
So they call it this year, though. I'm not talking about 3 years' time. I've called it. You think they're a genuine finals contender now? And what
Yeah,
you said,
100% they are.
Port
100%.
Adelaide, they haven't beaten a whole lot.
You win on the road. Winning on the road's hard to do.
Against
Winning
Port,
on the road is hard to do.
You've smashed Port and told me how bad they are for.
But
for,
Port
for 6
are the
weeks.
biggest flat track bullies you have ever seen, right? They beat bottom 8 teams. They beat bottom 10 teams. And they didn't beat this one. You've got to recognise it. I think that Ross is doing a terrific job.
I've
and it's
said
the back
all of
office.
that. I've said all of that.
But you haven't. You've said they're bottom 4, mate.
Yeah, I said.
You can't say I've said all the
I
glowing
said I'm
stuff
holding
if they're
on.
bottom
I
4.
said I'm holding on bottom 4. We all make predictions. You predicted Fremantle to win the premiership at the same time I predicted St Kilda to finish bottom 4. So we all get stuff wrong in the pre-season.
Yeah. But
I'm just holding on the fact that they're not genuine contenders this year. Whether it's bottom 6, bottom 4, bottom
what
8.
I'm saying that we're seeing the build of a very good team. If they can land De Koning, if they can land Leclerc, if they can land Bergman, then things can change really quickly. Jay Clark talked about it last night. They could actually spike in a serious hurry if they get the ability to play Marshall forward. Things with this list now, I think it's on the back office to support Ross. Get these deals done.
I think they're trying. I don't think they can try any harder. The back office, they're chucking out.
Don't get one done. There's no point getting one done. Try and get 2 and 3 and really step forward like.
Haven't been anyone good, Kane. Still think we can be bottom 4. We're 3-1, right? We've just knocked off 2 sides that played deep in finals last year, Kane. Geelong and Port Adelaide. Right? We smashed them. Smashed them. And you still don't want to give us any credit. You don't want to give Jack McRae any credit, who has the most contested possessions, clearances, score involvements, everything. All the major stats, he's in there. He's in the top 3. And there's one other key stat where he's in the top 10. So to still give him no credit, to give St Kilda no credit, I don't know what your hatred is of St Kilda. You've shit on St Kilda more than you've credited your favourite player, Jason Horne-Francis, this year. And I wonder why is that? Because until the weekend, Jason Horne-Francis couldn't get a kick and couldn't do anything this year. And to still think we can be bottom 4 is just rubbish. We are not going to be bottom 4. Have you seen Richmond and West Coast and North Melbourne and Essendon? They're just 4 sides off the top of my head that are going to be in the bottom 4 or in that conversation. They'll probably will be the bottom 4. We're 3-1. We've just been 2 good sides. We're not finishing bottom 4. But again, when David King's trying to explain everything, you're just laughing at everything he says and not listening properly. And then when you do listen, you just deflect David King's preseason predictions. Like, he's allowed to have an opinion and he can be wrong. So can you, but you're just shitting on St Kilda, Kane, for no reason now. We've proved you wrong. You could have owned up and said, you copped that wrong. But now you just go deflect King's prediction for Freo. And last time I checked, Freo could still make the 8 and still could do some damage in finals. His opinion is way better than yours, and you still think we could finish bottom 4. Like, that's just not happening. Not happening at all. And that is ridiculous that you still shit on St Kilda. Jack McRae has proven you wrong. Jack McRae is in the top part of the coaches' votes so far. And you still hate on him. And you take every coach's votes seriously, I see. So how about you take Jack McRae's form seriously? And there's another saint on top, Jack Sinclair, too. And this is not where we're not done, Kane. Jack McRae aside, okay, you've just disrespected Jack Higgins. You were discussing not in that clip, but in a different part of the show, the 5 also best small forwards in the comp. And you started listing off all these names. You mentioned Charlie Cameron, Tyson Stengel. By the way, both of those haven't done anything all year, might I add. And regardless, you're talking about the best small forwards this year and so far. And you gave 5 names, but you refused to acknowledge the guy on top of the small forwards goal kicking. Jack Higgins is 3rd. 2 more goals than the next best small forward, which I believe is Paul Curtis, who you also didn't mention in that top 5. Kane Cornes, you are the definition of a St Kilda hater. I don't know why you hate St Kilda so much, but it's quite embarrassing, Kane, that you go to these lengths to refuse to acknowledge great St Kilda individual or team performances. It's, they beat no one good. You just called your own side and Geelong shit. That's interesting. The side you said it was going to win the granny and a side that was going to make top 4. Interesting, Kane. Very, very interesting. Very hypocritical, disrespecting Jack Higgins. Did you not want to mention Jack Higgins because he hurt your feelings and said he doesn't like Adelaide, doesn't want to be in Adelaide? Is that why also you didn't mention him? Is that another reason? Or did you originally not like him either? Because I don't understand it, Kane. It is absolutely disgraceful that you refuse to acknowledge great performances from the St Kilda Football Club. Kane Cornes, I'll say it yet again, mate. Lift your game. It's pathetic, Kane. Pathetic. Right. That's Kane Cornes' rant out of the way. So, wow. Jeez. The umpiring in the Saints game was an absolute disgrace. And in the Freo game. And at the end of the Adelaide Gold Coast game. What I will not understand is how protected Port could be. Alia and another Port Adelaide defender both marked the ball. I think Alia marked it first, and the other player marked it first, and then Alia stole it out of his hands when it was clear as day the other player was going to mark it, so they had both touched the ball, so play on. Alia marked it, or stole the mark off his other teammate, and that was paid a mark to Alia. When that was clearly not. It's called play on. Then Higo tackles Alia in the goal square, and we probably would have got a hold on the ball free out of it as he held the ball for a while. And that's just rubbish. That's one of many examples where it was rigged. Darcy Byrne-Jones elbowed Ryan Burns in the face, and rightfully so got suspended for it, and he didn't even get a free for it. People wanted to complain about the umpiring. Some people were saying St Kilda were getting favoured. Well, you are completely delusional if you think that. How can you do that and not get a free? That's one or two of many examples where St Kilda got screwed in that 3rd quarter in particular. The umpiring this year is a joke. It really, really is a joke, and something needs to be done about it. I'm sick of seeing teams get screwed over in quarters, in moments, in general. Isaac Rankin and Sam Collins mark, no free, played at the end of the game. The AFL umpires wanted to say, not the umpires, the AFL said they got it wrong. But you just screwed Adelaide yet again. Ben Keys, you cost them finals. The AFL admitted they're wrong. It's like rubbing it in. How about you actually do something when you make these critical mistakes in games? Now, would have Rankin got the goal? Maybe not. But if he got a point, which he probably would have at least, it would have drawn the game about 40 seconds to go. But the AFL just loves screwing people over. The umpires are always and have always been a joke. Lift your game! Pathetic. Hope you guys and girls enjoyed that edition of the world-famous segment, Scoops Goes Bang. Say his name and he appears. Alrighty. So, let's now go through my team of the week. But unfortunately, got some bad news. The guest that was going to be on the show, as of not too long ago, was actually about to come on. Unfortunately, they will not be coming on this evening. I apologise. This just happens far too much. So many people promise things And, you know, I'm speechless. I'm sorry to the people that wanted people, or I'm sorry to the people that were expecting someone on. It just sucks. People are just, when you commit to doing something, you do it, okay? It's, it's frustrating. I'm sorry, guys and girls and all that. It just sucks. It just really, really sucks. I was meant to have, for context, I'm just, I'm not going to name names, but the whole reason this episode was airing tonight was because of this person that was going to come on to fit their schedule. And only an hour or so before hitting this record button, they said they were good to go at the time I'm recording this right now. And you don't know this, but I've paused the video for over half an hour, well over half an hour. And I'm talking like 37 minutes I paused this video for, 37 minutes over the time, and not one single message. This is 2025 for you. I've had this happen to me so many times, and to be honest, it's just very deflating. I put my hard, bloody work into all this. I put my time and effort into this on my own. I've wanted to expand this channel so damn much. I wanted to put a co-host on this AFL and AFLW show, but since the inception of the AFLW show, my original plan for the AFLW show was to have a co-host, whether it's a player, a fan of the AFLW, someone in the media, a former player, a current player, anything. And so many people committed to that show, this show, and interviews and Goal King challenges in general. And I've had plenty of people say, yes, I will come on. Yes, I want to do this. I love this. This sounds good. With organised times and venues if it's Goal King challenges and everything like that. And I would give you I swear to God, out of 100 people, only about 20 commit to doing what they say to me. And that's bad. So 2 out of 10 basically commit to saying what they say they'll do. I mean, in the January and February period alone, I had about 15 people, players, commit to doing a Goal King challenge or an interview. And only one of those 15 turned up or followed through on their word. People's words mean nothing these days, it seems. Well, to me, it does. In terms of they tell me yes, and then they just don't turn up. Not even a message back. Not even postponing it and saying, oh, can we do next week? Or some would say, oh, something's popped up, can we do next week? And then I try and organize it, and then they just stop replying. It's just why do people do this? Now, I know people are going to be laughing at this, and it just shows their character. But you see how much it's hurting? How much pain these people give me? And, I just try and, just cop it on the chin. But I'm sick of saying nothing, and this just keeps happening. These are from so-called professional athletes, professional clubs, and people that do this. How can people do this? How can people be so cruel? Things like this, it just makes me not want to do this anymore. But I still, through all the adversity, all the bullshit, I still freaking turn up. Always doing this on my own. Always putting in the bloody effort on my own. For people to be acting like children. In fact, that's probably harsh. Because some children are more mature than adults these days. Adults. Sometimes more better than professional athletes. There's another mini rant that was not expected. All I will say is this. There's professional footballers in any level, whether you're at the top level, a state league level, whatever. And so could professional football clubs at the top or at another level. And they still, look, I get it. If people don't want to come on, you don't want to come on. But do not tell me you'll come on and then either ghost me, ignore me, or lie. Like, this is going to be the God honest truth. Someone recently, and I'm not going to tell you who, but someone recently said, yeah, they want to come on the podcast. Yeah, I'll do an interview, etc. And then, so this is a true example. I'm just going to change the times a little bit. 5 p.m, Scoops, can we do the interview on Monday? Yep, absolutely. No problem. Sounds good. 4:30 odd comes around. They've said, oh, can we push it back to 6:30? Sure, no worries. Sounds good. Talk to you then. And they said, yep, no worries. And then thanks and all that. Or nothing. And then, 6:30 comes around. Get a message at 6:29. Oh, sorry. No, that's right. So 5 o'clock, 4:30, they message me saying, can we do 6:30? I'll go, sure, no problem. And what were they doing when they were meant to be on the interview? Playing golf and posting it right on 5 o'clock. And I saw that for this most recent example. I'm like, okay, maybe they were already out, but they're going to come on at 6:30, so it doesn't matter. And then at 6:30 and say, oh, now they can't. Like, so do they think I'm stupid and can't see that they've just posted a photo at golf an hour before the original pushback? Like, the treatment people give, the immaturity of people that are so-called professional athletes. That's not the first one that have done something like that either. There's been many examples. Some say a time they'll come on, or a venue if it's a goal kicking, and they don't even turn up or even get back and go, oh, sorry, Scoops, I had to push it back, or can we do tomorrow or whatever. Some do that, and then some don't follow through. But then some I've traveled for over an hour and a half, and then to have no shows. I put a lot into this channel. I go everywhere. I always do what's best for the guest. Some people that do what I do in terms of podcasting with guests and interviews and that, they make the players or whoever they got on come to them. I do what's best for them. I don't do what's best for me. If it was doing what I want to do, what's best for me, everything would be done at times and I want, and the days that I want. But no, I do what's best for them because I care about each and every guest equally that I have on, whether they're the best player in the comp, they're a state league player, whether they're an AFLW coach or an AFL coach or whoever. I treat them all the same because I treat them players that I have on how I would want them to treat me. And the people that I have had on, fantastic. But for the people in these examples that are doing this at professional standards, professional athletes, or just it's meant to be professional humans, they're just being so immature. If you tell someone you're going to do something, you do it. Simple as that. Things pop up from time to time, but don't bullshit me saying something's come up, yet you're playing golf. And there's many more examples. I've had someone tell me they had a job interview, and then what do? The moment they meant to come on the show and they supposedly had this job interview, they're at the bloody beach. They're at the beach, for God's sake. Like, this is immature from them. And people are saying, oh, you're sooking about it. No wonder they don't come on. That's ridiculous. I'm not naming names. I'm not name-dropping names. But, goddamn, it's really hard to... Look, I guarantee you, there's other podcasters, and trust me, I speak to a lot of other podcasters, and some players have done it to them. Some clubs have done it to them. I'm not going to name names because, I'm just not going to. But a prime example, okay? I'm going to give you one more example, okay? I'm not going to name the club, but there was a player from one club, and I've kept this to myself for a while, but it's time to reveal this without revealing names. So you're good mates with a player, okay? And I'm not mentioning the league. You're good mates with this player. It's a high-level league is what I'll say. You're good mates with a player. Really close, actually. You wanted to do a goal kicking challenge with them. They really want to do it themselves. They made time in their week, in their pre-season, might I add. So more the reason what I'm about to tell you is ridiculous. I wanted to have said player from this club on my show. They wanted to be on. They wanted to do with goal kicking challenges. They follow my channel in terms of they love the content. They say that, and I know that for a fact because I've spoken to them for a very long time. They love what I do. They wanted to do a goal kicking challenge. We worked it out for a Sunday, right? This is a while ago, but for a Sunday, okay? Yep, we're all good. The night before, that club make that player message me the night before me traveling again to say, hey, Scoops, I'm so sorry, mate, but the club says I don't have any free time. And I'm like, not blaming the player, mate. It's okay. I don't blame you. I'll have a chat to him. So, I'm not going to get into all the little details here, but I speak to that club and they just wouldn't allow it. Part of what I will say is apparently they were not happy. I interviewed a certain player from their club at some point in time because when I had that other player on, or the same player or whoever, I had them on, apparently I didn't notify them. Okay. And I'm like, okay, no worries. I'll notify you from now on because that's what they asked from that moment into that conversation. I'm like, sure, no worries. Are we able to still, work this out? And from now on, I'll run it through you. Which, by the way, I know for a fact, and I've had plenty of people tell me this, the players don't have to listen to the club at all. They don't. I know that for a fact because other podcasters have told me the damn same thing, and other people that know said the same thing. They don't have to be told. It's just more of a courtesy to tell them. They don't have to tell them anything. They can come on whenever they want with whoever they want. And this club wouldn't allow it. They were sooking that I didn't notify them. And I said, I'm happy to let you know from now on, but please, can this player and I do what we wanted to do? Then they just wouldn't let me, or they wouldn't answer me. Now, the exact same club did the same thing to another podcaster from the same club. They approached them the same way they approached me and said, hey, we're not allowing you to get this player on because, and these were two different players, by the way, for the same club though, to this person, no, you cannot have them on. You didn't tell us. And this person and I, this podcaster and I, had the same approach. We went to said club with the same reasoning, the same chat, and they got that person on in the end. Well, then we're told you have to go through them for any player this point onwards, which is a crock of shit, by the way, as I just said. But we both agreed with that. No worries, we'll do that. Then I didn't get them on, but they did. The double standards, and this is not the only club, by the way, that does this like this. Very hypocritical. I'm pissed, and damn well should I be, because I know they're lying, that club, and other clubs have done it too, just because we just love the game so much, we want to grow it. You're just stopping people talking about your clubs in a positive note. Like, we're promoting the game. We're doing what we love doing. And you're just stopping us. Is it because we promote the clubs, the competitions better than your own team does? I know the other podcaster and I, in particular with this club, we love that club. We love every club in the competition. We bust our ass and get told no, both of us, and then we both say the same thing back, and one gets allowed and one doesn't. Look, that's just ridiculous. And even still to this day, I am nice to them in terms of these clubs and that. I do what they ask despite me not having to have to do what they want, and then they just ignore you or give you excuses, and then the same people or different people that approach them doing the same thing sometimes get allowed. It's just not fair. And sometimes without reason. It's just disgraceful. I'm frustrated because I'm sick of being stood up by so many damn people. I would say only 2 out of 10 actually follow through on their word, which is ridiculous, which is another reason why I cherish and appreciate the people I have on so much, whether they're a top player or there's someone playing state leagues or someone just getting into the competition. I appreciate them all so much. And, you know, to some people, see, this is a big difference too. Some people that do podcasts or do interviews get handed players on their show, or they don't care about them. They just want them on there for clicks and views. I don't do that. I don't get players on for clicks and views and for clout and notoriety and everything like that. I get people on because I love doing what I do, and I appreciate every single one I get on. I don't care if I have the best player in the comp on, or someone that's just starting their career, or someone that's just, you know, going okay, someone that might be delisted. I don't care what level on the chain they are, whether they're at the top or the bottom or the middle. I appreciate every guest I get on. If I just get players in the middle bracket, I don't care. I treat them all the same. I do what I do because I love it. I don't do it for clicks and views. I do it because I damn well love doing it. I love doing interviews and goal kicking challenges. I appreciate every player I have on, and I will forever be grateful for every player, coach, whoever that I have on. Some other people cannot say the same. Some people get them on for clicks and views and attention seeking and everything like that. I get people on. I don't do it for clicks. I don't do it for views. I do it because I love doing it. I love doing interviews. I love doing goal kicking challenges, podcasts, vlogs, everything. I do it because I love it. I don't do it for clicks and views. All right, now I've just gone on about a 15-minute, 20-minute rant, but it just needed to be said. It just needed to be said. Gee, could you imagine if I hadn't done Scoops Goes Bang yet, how more explosive that would have been? That was basically an extended version of Scoops Goes Bang. All right, let's try and be positive for the rest of this episode somehow. All right, let's now go through my Supercoach talk. I scored 1,921. I still remain in the top 10%. I was dropped slightly a little bit. Now, best 22 is back. Well, you got 23 players to pick from. The lowest score of the 23 won't count as per the mandatory rules. But, you know, I think you really need to capitalize still. Now, I'm planning at this stage to use my third boost. I'm not showing you my team. You can go look it up if you really want to. But, you know, I'm not happy with the underperforming midfield premium options that I have and haven't got. So it's a very interesting one, you know. So, you know, I don't want to reveal my trades because I'm doing 3 trades as of right now. I had 300k or so left in the bank for Supercoach, and I was going to upgrade a rookie defender, but the rookie defenders, so Bice, Trainer, Reed, I know he had the bye, but before that he was going well. O'Sullivan from Geelong was doing really well. I made a bad move. I traded Harry Sheasel out last week, you know, which wasn't the brightest move. I normally never do sideways trades. overall it'll help my team, what I've done, but by wasting a trade, Sheasel then moves back to half back. So that's why I got rid of him. He was playing half forward for a quarter, playing centre for a quarter, playing half back for a quarter. In the 3 previous games before this week for North, I would say Sheasel probably played 3 out of the 12 quarters in the back line and the other 9 out. And if he's playing in the half forward line, which he was probably for 6 of those 12, he's not scoring well. Still a gun, Harry Sheasel. I like Harry Sheasel as a player, but I had to get rid of him, I thought. But anyway, Clarko's decided to piss me off by playing him in the half back line on the weekend. And they got slaughtered, the Roos. So there you go. I'm just trying to think off the top of my head. I got Tom De Koning and Tristan Cherry in my ruck. I feel like Cherry is carrying an injury at the moment. Hopefully he can improve, and do really well. There's some rookies that are still available. I'm not going to mention any rookies that you should get. Nathan O'Driscoll is a test for this week. Xavier Lindsay is a test for this week. So don't be trading them out at all. I'll be benching them because at worst, O'Driscoll will probably only miss a week. But yeah, that's my Supercoach score for this week. I'm in the top 10%. Now, before we continue, I have a message from the great one, the final boss, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Hey, Rock! Go fuck yourself!
When the saints go marching in, oh, when the saints go marching in, when the saints go marching in, oh, when the saints go marching in, when the saints go marching in, oh, when the saints go marching in.
Apologies for playing a different Rock Cody Rhodes clip. But yeah, so I was just looking at my Supercoach fan club league. So if you want to join that, the code is on the screen. But for Spotify and Apple podcast listeners, 300 to 10. If you want to join my Scoops fan club league, we've got about 140 people in that league, 148 teams, and I am like 40th in my own league. Congratulations to Shano, who is on top of my Supercoach fan club league. He is on 8,199 total points. Josh, the Crushers, is on 8,127. So Shano has a 72-point lead ahead of him. In third place, we have Declan, which is Rowan the Saints. I believe may have won last year, so Declan is really good at Supercoach. Then we've got Daniel, which is the Biscuit. And then Errol Gould and we have, which is Stephen. And let's see where another person that I know. Who's next? One of those people. Let's see how far some other people are. Well, if I'm in 40th place, which means I'm doing better than Graz and Shannon and Kev. But, there we are. Yeah, that's my Supercoach score this week. That's a code 300 to 10 if you want to join my Scoops Fan Club Supercoach League. But the 3 trades that I'm looking at right now, I have locked in right now. But when Thursday night teams come around, I'm sure it'll be edited and, change right then and there. All right. Now let's go through my round 4 Scoops AFL team of the week. From the back line, the pockets, Riley Bice and Harry Sheasel. Fullback, Stephen May. The half back line, the flankers, Nasiah, Wanganeen, Malira, and Jack Sinclair. Centre half back, Harry Himmelberg. The wingers, Lockie Whitfield and George Hewitt. Centreman, Caleb Sarong. Half forward line, the flankers, Toby Green and Tex Walker. Centre half forward, Sam Darcy. Forward line, the pockets, the man who kicked 9 lazy goals, Jesse Hogan. And then, no, they weren't lazy. It's a figure of speech for people that are going to take that seriously. The other pocket, Will Haywood. Full forward, Riley Thilthorpe. Ruck, Jared Witts. Centerman, Tom Green. And Lockie Neal. The interchange, Will Ashcroft. Lockie Ash. Luke Parker. Darcy Jones. And Jason Horn Francis. The emergencies, Jasper Fletcher, Ruben Ginby, Connor O'Sullivan, and Scott Pendlebury. Now, let's get the graphic up and give those reasons. So, I mean, where do I want to start with this? So, Riley Bice, you know, for a mid-season recruit, he's just been phenomenal. And I want to tell you 2 players to watch out for, 3 players technically, all from Werribee. Obviously, Dom Brew, who was training with the Bulldogs, making an opportunity at the mid-season draft. He was killing it on the weekend. I think he had like 16 clearances and 14 tackles, like 34 disposals. What do you expect? He should have been drafted by the Bulldogs. They missed out there. He would have been great in their midfield, Dom Brew, right now, wouldn't he? When they got Treloar and Bonampelli out. So, yeah, jokes on them. But 2 other players besides Dom Brew to look out for. Hudson Garoni, who's been flying under the radar. Werribee have produced so many AFL players the last few years, Jack Henderson and Aidan Johnson went to Melbourne from Werribee. There's been a few other players. Riley Bice is one. There's another name that escapes me who's done better than all of them. There's a lot of players that are Werribee that done well. But Hudson Garoni kicks some goals, gets some disposals. He does really well each and every week. I'll be happy to have him for St Kilda because he dominates for the last few years. And Grintle. I think his first name's Harry, but Grintle, he's a good player from Werribee as well. They're ones to watch out for in the mid-season draft or the end of the year. I think that would be worth a selection. Now, also, let's go on. So, Riley Bice, he had like 26 disposals. He was awesome. Like, it wasn't just that. His intercept marking, his kicking on his left foot is elite, and his game was best on ground level performance. Harry Sheasel, he had 34 disposals. Was back to his best. He's still been okay this year, but for Supercoach, he hadn't been, which is why I took him out. And then Clarko decides to put him back in his main spot. So thanks, Clarko. Fuck's sake. Fullback, Stephen May. He was Melbourne's best player. And you could argue he was probably one of the best on the ground, to be honest. He had like 27 disposals, like 14 marks. He was just really good. High efficiency. Intercept possessions and 1% through the roof. So it was an obvious choice for me. Nasai Wangani Malira was the difference with Jack Sinclair for St Kilda. Both kicked a goal. And Jack Sinclair got the winning goal. The icing on the St Kilda cake. Yeet. 25 disposals each, a goal each, maybe a few more disposals actually to be at 27, 26. And they're elite with their efficiency, their decision-making, the way they break the game open and far out. They're 2 great players. And Wangani Malira in his contract year, hopefully we keep him. Wingers. Sorry, not wingers first. We're going to go through centre back. Harry Himmelberg. I'm going to make this bold call right now. Harry Himmelberg has to be in contention for the All-Australian team right now. Getting 20 disposals every week as a key defender isn't easy. But, he's clean if he's disposal. He kicks the ball a long way. He's got a lot of metres gained. He's still having high efficiency. He actually does damage with his footy. That's why there is no Zach Guthrie in this team because he absolutely does not deserve it when you go chippy sideways and just kick the ball to yourself, basically. He was great. Lockie Whitfield, 35 disposals, All-Australian lock right now. Caleb Sarong, back to his best on the weekend. 34 odd disposals. It was really good against the Bulldogs. George Stewart kicked 2 goals and 29 disposals. He was awesome for Carlton. I would argue was best on the ground in that game. Toby Green kicked 3 goals with 24 disposals, a lock. Sam Darcy killed it. 5 goals, 22 disposals, lock. Tex Walker kicked 4 and about 14 disposals, so I don't have to say any more there. Jesse Hogan kicked 9 goals, so, I don't even have to explain myself. There, Will Haywood kicked 4. Again, don't have to explain myself. Riley Thilthorpe kicked 5. Don't have to explain myself there. Jared Witts, I thought was the best ruck. I was trying to think between him and Kieran Briggs. I did not consider Darcy Cameron as I thought Tom De Koning beat him in the first half, and that Darcy Cameron won the second half, but therefore it was even, and therefore when I was comparing Briggs and Witts, They were the two in most consideration there. Tom Green, superstar, 2 goals, 37 disposals. My man Tom Green, last year's Scoops medal winner, is a superstar, a bona fide star, Tommy Green. And Lockie Neal, 2-time Brownlow medalist, but 42 disposals. Back to his best, wasn't tagged this week. Of course, that's why I put the captain on Dane Zorko, who I brought in for Sheasel, and he pulled out at 84 or something. Great. And the Lockie Neal pulled out 133. Was probably robbed of a few points as well. Luke Parker, I mean, I think this is one of the moves that people are going to be debating the most, but I'm not, because 2 goals, 27 disposals. I thought he was better than Harry Sheasel. Both were good, hence why they're in the team. But I thought Luke Parker was North Melbourne's best player easily. The impact he had in the game, 2 goals, 27 disposals, playing with a broken rib or fractured ribs or something since 2 months ago. Brave from Luke Parker, a superstar, was good against his old side. Not good, he was great. I was actually really tempted to put him on the field, but I couldn't get him in on the field. I could have put him at half forward, but look at the guys that got in the forward line. They all kicked 4 goals or more, basically. So he had to be on the bench, unfortunately. Lockie Ash, 31 disposals. His efficiency was really good. Meters gained, clearances and everything like that, really good, Lockie Ash. Will Ashcroft was probably the second best player on the ground in the Brisbane game. Darcy Jones was really good for the Giants. Kicked 2 goals early, but he had like 24 disposals with those 2 goals, lots of tackles and that, so he deserved it. And Jason Horne-Francis finally plays 1 good game for the year and kicked 3 in 29, so that's why he's in the team. Jasper Fletcher, I really liked his game. His stats weren't high. If you actually watched the game, he was actually really good, and he is consideration for votes for this game. Serious medal votes, that is. You know, I really wanted to put him in. I tried everything to put him in. I really did, but it would have been at the expense of your guess is as good as mine. It probably would have been for Darcy Jones, but I just had Darcy Jones ahead of Jasper Fletcher, but he was good. Ruben Jimby, I wanted to have in the side as well. But again, Malira and Sinclair and Bice were just better, and Sheasel, so he was just stiff. Connor O'Sullivan was a decent player on the weekend as well. I thought Scott Pendlebury did really well as well. All right, so now let's go back to the next segment, ladies and gentlemen, which will be reviewing the round 4 games, shall we? Alrighty, so it started on Thursday night at the MCG. It was Collingwood 63, Carlton 46, Collingwood by 17 points. You know, Collingwood were always going to win this, but to give Carlton credit, they were in the contest. They weren't good, though. George Hewitt was fantastic. Paddy Cripps was terrible. And it's time to actually stop saying the excuse of, oh, he carries the team. And yeah, he does. But stop using that excuse for when he does nothing, okay? Charlie Curnow kicked 3 goals. He was good for most part. Tom De Koning was great in the first half, bad in the second half. And that's when Carlton shit the bed and Tom De Koning went out. So if they lose into my Saints, they're going to be in a world of hurt because Mark Pinnet is not the answer. He could be back this week too. Will that affect his Supercoach scores, Tom De Koning? We'll have to wait and see. Hopefully not. But yeah, George Hewitt was awesome. I loved his game. Blake Agis was okay as well, 31 disposals. But Collingwood, it was Pendlebury. It was Lockie Schultz. Yeah, they didn't have a lot of standout players, Collingwood. Darcy Cameron was solid in the second half too. But yeah, no real standouts for me for Collingwood besides the names I just mentioned. So, I mean, and they weren't even standouts. They were good. Scott Pendlebury, I thought, was their best player as well. But Carlton, back to the drawing board. They got the Eagles in Gather Round this week. No one cares about Gather Round. And I just mentioned Will Ashcroft before. Levi Ashcroft has won the Rising Star nomination for round 4. Well deserved. So as I said, Levi Ashcroft has won the Rising Star for round 4. Well deserved, mate. Well done. And also Jake Lever will miss about 8 weeks for Melbourne, which is not good at all. Darcy Byrne-Jones got a week's suspension for his dog bump on Ryan Burns. That should have been 3 weeks. Oscar Baker got 1 week on Andy Brayshaw. I did say that was a bit reckless from Oscar Baker. 50-50 call. So 1 week's okay. Jake Lee was out 8 weeks for an ankle injury. Hasn't progressed, unfortunately for him. And that injury is not going well. James Warple is up for grabs. According to Tom Morris, the Saints and Melbourne have shown preliminary interest. He's 26 years old, Warple. There's players that Hawthorn going to try and get out that aren't getting a game. I know he was injured and is about to come back in the side probably this week for Hawthorn. Warple, the Warpedo. Complement our midfield well. He's, 26 now, so he's not young. He can complement Steele and McRae and Philippou when he comes back as well. So I think he could add another layer to our midfield. He's not slow, he's not quick, but he can accumulate the ball and, add a different dynamic to the midfield, which I think he would add perfectly to what we've already got. And he wouldn't cost that much. Might be a second rounder, so absolutely worth it if it's for a second rounder. The Warpedo. But yeah. So where was I? Yeah. So yeah, that's the news. So Collingwood 1, Carlton are on 4. Geelong 85 defeated Melbourne 46. Geelong by 39 points. I mean, everything I say about Geelong is true. They are the most protected club in the competition. Now, you're probably wondering why Patrick Dangerfield wasn't in the team of the week, and he will not be in my Brownlow votes. Sorry, when you get handed goals, you're just not getting in the team from the umpires or anything. Did he play better than most weeks? Sure, because he hasn't got a kick any other week. So he was better this week, but protected by the umpires. Surprise, surprise. He's the second most protected player in history for free kick counts of all time. Joel Duckwood was the first. Surprise, another Geelong player. Joel Selwood had like 800 more free kicks than Patrick Dangerfield in his career. That's pathetic. And Dangerfield had 80 to 100 more than the third most ever. That's ridiculous. 2 Geelong players, The most protected club in the competition for a reason. No one can tell me they're not. If you think they're not, then you're delusional. And Geelong are still and always have been and always will be the most protected club in the competition because the AFL love them. They love Chris Scott. They can say whatever the hell they want. It's just ridiculous. They got the job done against Melbourne. I don't think Melbourne fans can be pissed off with how they played. I thought they had moments in this game where they could have won. Stephen May and Clayton Oliver were terrific. Max Gawn, he was okay, I guess. Nothing great, nothing bad. Does Tom Fullerton finally get a go? What are they recruiting for? Okay. 5 goals in the weekend in the VFL, 3 the week prior. He's getting around 15, 20 touches. He's been the backup ruck. Melbourne need a backup ruck. Their forward line is shit. Aiden Johnson should not be playing. Petty and Turner should not be playing. Petty should be playing in the back line or he shouldn't be in the team. Now if Lever out, I feel like Petty may go back in the back line. So that leaves a hole in the forward line. Well, they've already got holes everywhere in that forward line, but honest to God, Tom Fullerton, I'm not saying this is a piss take, should be in Melbourne's forward line. You don't recruit someone not to play him at all. You've got injuries. Your player's out of form. I know that's the role of him is not to be a starting player, but give the guy a go. He's dominating the twos last year and the start of this year. How about you actually give someone a go to see how he would go? He played 14 games at Brisbane, played a finals game for Melbourne, for Brisbane, 2 years ago. This is his second year on Melbourne's list, and basically, Simon Goodman shit on Tom Fullerton in a presser last year. Another reason why Simon Goodman should go. Give the guy a go. Tom Fullerton deserves a go. Now, yeah, that's that. But here we are. We'll see if Fullerton is in this week. You watch, he'll be in this week because of what I just said. Right, the next game to go through was the Saturday games. Let me just get it up. 91, Gold Coast, Adelaide 90. Gold Coast by 1 point. This is the Isaac Rankin debacle. The game itself was awesome. I gave my thoughts on Rankin earlier in the show in terms of was it a mark free kick. To repeat it, it should have been a free or a mark. But who's to say he would have scored a goal from it or a point because it's tough on the boundary line. He's a former Gold Coast player too, Isaac Rankin. So very interesting. Matthew, the coach of the Crows, was not happy and rightfully so. Adelaide been screwed a few times. Ben Keys, they got cost finals because of that. Tell you right now, if this was Geelong in Rankin's shoes or in Ben Keys' shoes in these examples, no worry. Geelong would have got the goal from Ben Keys and they would have got the free if it was Rankin was for them. So it's just ridiculous. But here we are. Great game though. Anderson and Miller, Witts, Rowell were really good for the Suns. For the Crows, Dawson was really good. Rankin was all right. So, it is what it is. Oh, yeah, Thilthorpe kicked 5, and Tex Walker kicked 4. And by the way, I want to say something to Riley Thilthorpe. Not Riley Thilthorpe, sorry. I want to say something to Darcy Fogarty. You didn't like Jack Higgins' comment about Adelaide. Oh, grow up. It was tongue in cheek. He already said that, here you go. You really, really get worked up over a piss take comment. We're just worried about your form and worrying about getting a kick first, Darcy Fogarty. Thank you. Yeah, anyway, the next game on Saturday, which was Richmond and Brisbane. Richmond 90, Brisbane 118. Brisbane by 28 points. If I'm a Brisbane supporter, I'm pissed off with this game. And I want to tell you why. I'm going to get the stats up. I don't have it in front of me. The inside 50 difference was huge in favour of Brisbane, of course. But this just showed Richmond's skills in this game. Like, their efficiency inside 50 from scoring was elite. They had 25 scoring shots, right, from 40 inside 50s. So Richmond scored a goal or behind 25 times out of 40 inside 50s. That's well above the AFL average. So credit to Richmond. So when they got it in there, they did well. And throughout the game as well, I thought they did really well. I thought, this is going to sound stupid, but I feel like they were better than Brisbane for most of the game. Brisbane just capitalised on the bits where Richmond crumbled and kicked goal. But then they just plateaued. They were like, just bang average. They were like, it was just like they weren't trying. But I'm going to give Richmond credit. You know, some players did really well in this game for them. Hopper, Taranto, another one of Kane's favourite players, Tim Taranto, apparently not in the top 150. That's just ridiculous. Another dumb take from Kane Cornes yet again, and still shitting on Tim Taranto recently. Oh yeah, Kane, why'd you ever go Harry Sheezel for? You don't love players that accumulate the ball and actually do well for their team. But now let's glaze Jason Horne-Francis when he gets 17 disposals at 50% efficiency and 6 turnovers, Kane, week prior to this week. Why don't you? Hypocrite. Harry Sheezel's a superstar. Harry Sheezel just praised you on the weekend, saying he doesn't mind your takes before that game. And then after the game, you shit on him for his amazing game. If I was Harry Sheezel, I would be calling you out for your bullshit. Harry Sheezel's a superstar. Now, yeah, Richmond are really good. You know, Hopper, Taranto, Seth Campbell, who's been a real find for them this year in particular, and probably will start getting tagged a little bit or noticed more in their forward line, especially when Tom Lynch isn't doing too well. I think Richmond overall were really good. I thought they were the better team for most of the game. They just inexperienced, in the moments they were bad, Brisbane just went bang, bang, bang. Jasper Fletcher, Will Ashcroft, Lockie Neal, Hugh McCluggage, Josh Dunkley were all terrific for Brisbane. But yeah, Brisbane got the win by 28 points. I don't think Chris Fagan will be happy. And if he's happy with that, well, then Jesus Christ. Right, Saturday night, North Melbourne 52, Sydney 117, Sydney by 65 points. North Melbourne continue to be set back to reality. Smashed by the Crows by 6 goals last week. Smashed by 10 goals plus against Sydney at Marvel. I told you North fans and AFL fans that were talking them up after they smashed Melbourne in one quarter, win by 10 goals. Melbourne is shit too. So calm down, I said. People were saying, oh, they're going to win 8, 10, 12 games. They're going to make the 8. Some people were saying, like, nah. So we don't jump the gun. Look who jumped the gun on Richmond. Now look how they're going. They're also shitting the bed as well for most part of this season so far. So just stop jumping off one game. St Kilda have backed it up. Beat Geelong and Port. 2 high-quality sides, according to some people. So, yeah, it's just unbelievable. So it is what it is. So for Sydney, Riley Bice was awesome. You know, Papley did not play. He's out for 8 weeks. But, you know, it is what it is. Brodie Grundy, he's going to be questioned. Does Brodie Grundy deserve to be dropped? Peter Adams is probably no better, but does he need to be dropped, Brodie Grundy? And that might rejuvenalise his form. Because I just don't think he's doing well. Speaking of a side that did not well at all was West Coast. GWS 132, West Coast 51. What a slaughter this was. Slaughter contest for the Giants. 81 points. Oh boy, wowee. What the hell did West Coast do? I thought Tom Gross's efficiency on debut wasn't good, but he was clean and like running through the pack, being brave, tackling and everything like that, getting the ball just vroom past plays, picks the ball up off the ground really cleanly. I thought he did really well with everything like that. I just thought his kicking wasn't the best. I was happy for him that he did really well. And Hamish Davis played his first game. Sandy Brock, she had Hogan kick 9 on him. But I'm not going to put that all on Sandy Brock. You know, the delivery sometimes, what do you all think? Not just for Sandy Brock, but like if you watch how Hogan got his goals, some of them were like no defender would stop. So do you blame the midfielders for the service and effort that they're giving, you know? Because it's not all Sandy Brock's fault. Sure, he'll probably get dropped. I don't know why Harry Edwards was dropped from McGovern's injured, and McGovern might be back this week or up to the next 2 weeks. Hopefully for Eagles' sake, he's back against Carlton, who will have Curnow and potentially Harry Mackay. It was great to see Harry Mackay back and Elijah Hollins in the VFL for Carlton on Saturday night at Icon Park. Both got through the game unscathed. Whether they play in gather round in the AFL this week for the Blues is one to watch. But yeah, West Coast, terrible. Tim Kelly, I thought, is doing a bit better. Harley Reid is one step out the door. The Giants, well, Hogan 9, Darcy Jones is great. Harry Himmelberg, Lockie Whitfield, Sam Taylor had his moments as well. I thought Archer Reid did really well for West Coast. Since that game against Freo in the Derby, late in the third quarter, kicked 2 goals or something, he's just spiked up. You know, not for Supercoach, but just in general, I think he's looked stronger. He's outbodied Sam Taylor on the weekend. So, in fact, I think Archer Reid did better than Sam Taylor. So, credit to Archer Reid. It's a great learning experience for him to be on one of the best key defenders in the game in Sam Taylor. Then other game, oh, when the Saints go marching in, oh, how I want to be with St Kilda. Oh, suck shit, Kane Cornes. Saints by 17 points, 72 to 89. We silenced the critics yet again, but Kane decides to say we haven't beaten anyone good, apparently, as I mentioned earlier, my first rant. Yes, pathetic. Kane Cornes, seriously, you are pathetic with your comments lately. Pathetic. Oh, Sinclair, how great is that guy? Kicked the winning goal. Malira, he's so good. Cal Wilkie, oh, so reliable is Cal Wilkie. Superstar player. Absolutely awesome and great to have him in the side. Lance Collard played really well as a small forward, kicked a late goal to win us the game. I think he kicked 2 for the game anyway. Jack Higgins does what Jack Higgins does, 3 goals, best all forward in the comp. Don't at me. Yeet. Tyson Stengel, who? Charlie Cameron, who? Tom Papley, who? Paul Curtis, who? Yeet. Jack Higgins. Acknowledge him. Kane, the one. Jack McRae, 28 disposals, like 16 contested possessions, 9 clearances, 8 score involvements. Superstar Jack McRae, and another one that Kane's got wrong. See, I would say that Jack McRae should be owed an apology, but I know Kane's not going to do that. And to be honest, I don't think Jack McRae would give one iota of a shit about what Kane Cornes thinks about him, because true fans like myself know and value Jack McRae, and I know that a lot of the Saints fans do as well, speaking to a lot of them and seeing the comments online. Jack McRae, just know we're in your corner, mate. I'm sure you're probably laughing at Kane's stupid comments about you, mate. But just know the real fans, mate, are on your side. You're the inaugural Scoops medal winner for a reason. Jack McRae, superstar, and another superstar performance on the weekend. It was probably his quietest game of the 4. But he was still freaking awesome and got coaches' votes. So, and by the way, Jack Sinclair is winning the coaches' votes. Sucked in all the haters. Yeet. But, you know, there we are. Papuele Horn, for instance, was their best player. Aliria took a mark off his own teammate and got paid a mark. We would have got a goal out of it most likely because it should have been holding the ball because he just stood there with it. Higo tackled him, knew the goals, and would have been a goal. But here we are. Papuele got protected in the third quarter with the umpiring and in general, but mainly in the third quarter. I mentioned that earlier, so I'm not really repeating it again. The final game to go through was in Perth, Freo and the Bulldogs. Freo 97, Western Bulldogs 81, Freo by 16 points. Now, people said the umpiring in this game was atrocious. It was, favouring Fremantle a little bit too, might I add. People are going to go, what the hell are you saying? Bulldogs got like 15 more frees. Yeah, well, people know I'm not a big fan of the Bulldogs AFL side, and, you know, I'm going to give them credit for being brave for the players that got out and the umpires against them in the last quarter. Sam Darcy, 5 goals, 22 disposals. Josh Draper, Brennan Cox, or Alex Pierce, whoever was on Darcy, should be dropped. I don't care if it was Alex Pearce. They all played on him at some point, I think, particular Pearce and Cox. So they should be dropped. That was disgraceful. He kicked 5 goals too, 22 disposals, like 14 marks, far out. He was great. Sam Darcy. I thought Oscar Baker played his part, but he's unfortunately got to a 1-week suspension. In that last one in particular, I only got to really see the second half of this game. So obviously because the Saints game was on at the same time for the first half. So yeah, Caleb Sarong was really good. Yeah, so Andy Brayshaw played his part as well in his 150th game. Well done to Andy Brayshaw on that milestone, mate. Jack McRae played his 250th in round 1, by the way, if you didn't know that, Kane. 250 game superstar. See, there's a difference came between you and Jack McRae. Jack McRae can last longer than a week at his job. Just think it in. I know you were only a firefighter for 1 week, Kane, but he's lasted longer in his job than you have at that job. Yeet. Yeah, now let's go preview the round 5 games. A much longer episode than first planned, or it could have been. But anyway, if you don't know what I'm talking about, go back and rewind. But yeah, let's go preview the round 5 games, shall we, to wrap us up. Whew. All right, Thursday night. This is all the games are in Adelaide. We got Norwood Oval, we've got the Adelaide Oval, we've got Barossa something. You know, it's funny when Higo was taking the piss out of Adelaide, saying there's not much to do there basically because he doesn't like Adelaide. Adelaide Crows players were so salty, they got them to name all these places that they can go to, and they just mentioned wineries and like restaurants, like, and they all kept saying like the same thing. So you proved his point. There is nothing to do in Adelaide, and so there you go. Yeet. Adelaide Oval, Thursday night, 7:40 Victorian time on Thursday night. It's Adelaide hosting Geelong. I'll be tipping the Crows in this one by 17 points. Friday night at the Adelaide Oval, it's Collingwood hosting Sydney, 7:40 Vic time as well. I'll be tipping the Pies in this one, who will be without Lockie Schultz and Jordan De Goey. Schultz hurt his hamstring at training on Sunday. He'll be out for 2 to 3 weeks. And De Goey had ankle inflammation, Pies say, so he'll be out for a week, which is not good. But I'll go the Pies in this one, in the close one, by 4 points. Saturday, 12:35 at Barossa Park, North Melbourne hosting Gold Coast, 12:35 p.m. Victorian time. I'll be tipping the Gold Coast Suns in this one by 55 points. Saturday, 1:20 Victorian time at the Adelaide Oval. It's Carlton hosting West Coast. I'm tipping a side to win their first game for the year. Who is it? I'll be tipping Carlton this one by 26 points. 4:15 on Saturday at Norwood Oval, which is the Sandford ground. Western Bulldogs hosting Brisbane. I'll be tipping Brisbane in this one by 38 points. Saturday night at the Adelaide Oval, 7:35 p.m. Victorian time. It's Melbourne hosting Essendon. Will Melbourne get their first win of the year? You betcha they will. They will win this game by 2 points. Sunday, 12:35 p.m. Victorian time at Barossa Park. It's Richmond hosting Freo. Well, not really hosting them, but technically they are. I'll be tipping Freo in this one by 27 points. Sunday, 3:20 p.m. Victorian time at Norwood Oval. It's my Saints, again, facing the Giants. I'll be tipping the Saints in this one by 12 points. We can beat Geelong. We can beat Port and Adelaide. We can beat the Giants on neutral territory. But the Giants are probably the best side so far this year. So I'm tipping the Saints over 16 points. Hopefully Max King's back for this game. Dan Butler's back in this game. He came in back from his injury in the VFL. Liam Henry's now played 2 weeks after missing since December. He's played 2 games in the VFL. He may come in as well. Liam O'Connell will be back from his concussion, most likely, but I don't expect him to come back in. And we've 1-2. I expect Butler and King will come in probably at the expense of Hasty and maybe Max Hall, but it could be Collard, though, as well, even though he played well on the weekend. Saints by 16 points. The final game to go through to wrap up Gather Round and get Gather Round over with, because I don't like Gather Round. No, not in Adelaide at least anyway. 7:20 p.m. Victorian time at the Adelaide Oval. It's Port Adelaide hosting the Hawks. I'll be tipping Hawthorn in this one by 28 points. Right, my final thoughts are simply this. You want me on Cameo? Head to cameo.com cameo.com/Cooper G. Want me to roast a friend, wish someone a happy birthday, anything at all, cameo.com/Cooper G. If you know any AFL, AFLW players, any up-and-coming draftees, or any state league players, you would like to see them on the podcast in a golfing challenge and or interview, please send me a message. We'll try and get something sorted. And hopefully if someone says they'll come on, they actually do come on. Thank you to all the loyal fans. I know it was tough talking about before. We wanted to vent out a little bit after another no-show. And even while we're recording right now, it's been an hour and 33 minutes now since they were meant to come on. And I haven't still been said a damn word. It's tough. Thank you all. I'll be here each and every week because I don't let people down. And when I tell someone I want to do a video or whatever, I actually do it. Thank you. Go Saints. Acknowledge us. The best. The one.